you over Misha, who is going to lead us through our welcoming circle.
Thanks. So hopefully, well, very soon what I hope will happen is that you will stop sitting in chairs and watching us talk and start sitting in different chairs and talking to each other. So just take, just for 1 second, take your focus off me and look at the other people in the room. These are the people you're going to be spending your day with. Maybe take some time to form a preconception about them. try to test that against reality. Once you talk to them, try to guess what they're here for. And when you do work with people as you do, then find out about them. It's an obvious thing, but introduce yourselves, find out who they are and where they come from, and you can make it a fun little game and see if you were right. Choose a favorite person, choose an unfavorite person. All of this will make it more lively for you. And then the point of all of this is just to get all of you in this room talking to each other and working on problems together. And the idea I think really is, there was a lot of talk about this before, that the idea is to work on problems as opposed to name problems. One thing, a phrase that's come up a lot is that this is not a complaint department. It's, what was it? The solution swimming pool. Playground. It was some sort of happy solution play. It's a happy solution play is what it is. It's whatever you like. It's a solution hockey puck bar. But that's what it is. And so we encourage you to think in that way. What we're going to get to, and hopefully we'll get to it quite shortly, but I will let you know now so that the gears can turn in your head slowly, is that this up there is the schedule, this wall, and some parts are filled in, like there's the speed dreaming, so there's speed dreaming, and there's the design slam, and there's Joey, there is dancing, happy Joey, and there's also a lot of empty space, and the idea is that the empty space is there because there's no reason why the 4 or 5 or 8 of us who organize this thing know any better than you do what needs to be talked about. And so the idea is that most of that space is empty so that you can decide what needs to be talked about because you know. So what we're going to do in just a few minutes is get you to find things that you want to talk about and put them up there, and that will become the agenda for a big part of the bulk of this. So let those wheels turn quietly. And then I'll get you through the logistics of it soon. The stuff that you can talk about can really be anything. And I want to point that out. If you want to run a session, one way to run a session is that if you're a real expert and you have knowledge that you want to share with other people, and that is certainly one thing that you can do. But you don't have to be an expert, and I really can't stress that enough. If you have a half-baked idea that you're sort of excited about, put it up there and see if other people can help you bake it more fully and work it through and talk about it. This is a great place to do that. If there's a puzzle that you're trying to work out, if there's something that you think could be better but you don't know how, you can put that out there too. It could be a question. It could be something. If there's other people you want to meet, if there's people you want to assemble for a project, it can really be anything. To take advantage of the fact that you've got all these people who are all here because they care about this enough to spend their day doing it, who all have expertise and all have passion about it. So we really, really encourage you. Don't think that you can't put something up there if you're not an expert. You can. If you put something up there, if you convene a session, the only real responsibilities that you have is it's your responsibility to make sure that the session happens. You don't have to give a lecture. You don't have to give a talk. You just have to make sure that it happens. And what it means to make sure that it happens is get it up there, explain to people really clearly what it is, maybe introduce people when they're there. And the most critical thing, the very most critical thing, is to ensure that notes get taken. We can't stress that enough, especially for this event. The whole point, in one understanding, the whole point of this event is to build this massive wiki, which is a kind of website, which will have tons of ideas and notes and all of that, which then the TTC can go and look at and see the sort of powerful effects that can happen with a community like this, just of excited people coming together. So the killer thing is to make sure that the results of the session do get put up on the wiki. And you don't have, if it's your session, you don't have to do it yourself. You can get someone else to do it. And it's probably even best if you do, but it's your job to make sure that someone does. The best way to get something up on the wiki is if you've got someone with a laptop and they're comfortable with it, they can put it up directly. If you can't do that, if no one in your group has the tech chops to do that, just put it in a Word document and David will help you figure out how to get it on the wiki. If you can't do that, write it down and then try to convince someone to retype it for you, which should be fun. So I will tell you that. In all of the discussions, I really want to just get you going. So I have all these long notes. I have a whole set of notes for sort of guidelines for participating in the conversations. But basically what they say, what they come down to is be a nice person. If you are a bad person, maybe today's the day to take a day off from that and try being a nice person for a change. And some of the things that nice people do is nice people don't interrupt other people. Nice people, they know that other people have different opinions from them, but they might still be okay people. They know that sometimes other people might be right, even if they have opinions that are different from them. And especially they respect the expertise of different people, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of different sets of expertise. So try to be like, if for instance you're working with someone from the TTC, they might know something about the TTC that you don't. So much as it is fun, much as it might be fun to yell at them, see what it's like not to. And then if you find that doesn't work, I don't know, you can go back to your normal life. So that's good. Let me see if there's anything critical for you to know other than that. You know about Barcamp, you know about how many creative people there are in this room. Oh, here's the one thing. There's a bunch of rules for these things, but the most important rule for this stuff, and this comes from open space, if people are familiar with that, which is another, doesn't matter, it's another way of organizing conferences. There is only one rule in open space conferences, and it gets called the rule of 2 feet. And what that rule is if you're in a conversation and you find that you're not learning and you're not contributing, you have to leave. And I really want to stress that, you have to leave. It's not just that you can leave, but you must. This whole thing doesn't work. The whole thing that makes this thing work is that people are where they want to be, having the conversations they want to have, really psyched about it and really having a good time. If everybody's sitting around in conversations they're not really enjoying, politely pretending that they're enjoying it or not wanting to leave, it does not help. For a self-organizing conference to work, you have to self-organize. And part of self-organizing is self-correcting and self-adjusting. So if you are not contributing anything and you're not learning anything, leave. Go do something else. And there's lots of ways in which you can start new conversations, which hopefully will be more fruitful to you. I think we've got just about enough that we can actually start getting the sessions up. So here's what I want to ask. Is there anybody in the room who has something that they want to talk about? Yeah, no, okay, great. So what I'd like you to do is if you can come up and just say what it is. Yeah, come up here. It would make me so happy. And if anyone else does, come up here too.
I'll give you a mic.
I'd actually rather have them come up, because I'd like them to come up and announce it in a second. And if anyone else has something, we're going to ask you to write it down on a piece of paper too. I'll spoil that next part. And say who you are.
My name's Mark. I'm an architecture student. And the thing I got in my head is, why don't we use some of the existing things that we have in the city to help make the TPC better? There's a lot of rail corridors. This one right up here. There used to be a Parkdale station just a short walk away. You know, how come we don't have any trains going through there, getting people from the subway to Parkdale? You know, they're there. Can the TTC do something about it to get the city going again?
Cool. Okay. So will that be one of the sessions? Can you schedule that as a discussion session?
Maybe.
Okay. I will take your tepid enthusiasm as a heartfelt yes. Is there anyone else who has a discussion? Okay. Just come up and line up at the mic. You don't need my permission. Just line up.
My name is Joe. I'm a media maker. I've been part of the new media scene for now going my 3rd decade in Toronto. And at every decade there seems to be a renewal of spirit and energy. The problem so far has been it's been top down. And what's really amazing this time around, it's bottom up in terms of consolidating ideas and visions and getting something done. My interest is in debugging the TTC. For those of you that are developers, you know what that means, or techies. For those of you that are not, it's simply the process of gathering small bits of information, for example, about a piece of software or website, about what doesn't work. And you accumulate this into a database, and then you analyze, and you see patterns, and you assign priorities to fixing things. So starting with the TTC website, let's debug the TTC website by having an opportunity for everybody to submit cases of what doesn't work. And then in turn, let's turn that to the organization as a structure. And then to address the Trojan pony, if I got the term right, why not debug the whole city? Have a massive bug tracker and make the politicians and the civil servants accountable, assign the bugs to them. And put the onus on them to fix the problem. So that's it.
And when you make your signs, and put your sign on, put our title on it, and put your name on it too, just to give yourself that much more ownership. Let's get the next person up. Let's get through them fairly quick.
My name is Kevin, and I'm with AutoShare here in the city, and I wanted to talk about... Thank you very much. I don't think there's anyone here from Zipcar, but I'll include them in this idea, and maybe folks who in one way or another participated with Bike Share. I'm not sure what the status of that is, but I just want to throw out, when we're looking at redesigning a website or information at transit shelters and that sort of thing, that we should be helping the TTC to think about the linkages to other forms of transportation, whether it's taxis or auto share and that sort of thing, to help people move through the city, so that it's not just the TTC in isolation, or that today we're not just thinking about the TTC in isolation, but that it interacts with other groups. So thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Rick Innes, and I'm a geek about town. And the thing I've been thinking about is what I've summarized as real-time transit info. Just, how do we get information about where a bus is and where it's going to be out to people in a way that they can actually use it as well. So that you're not standing out at the bus stop for 15 minutes because the bus is delayed or something, that kind of thing.
My name is Michael Glenn. I'm from Radiant Core. Rick just stole my thunder. So this morning, I think I woke up and I checked the temperature, and it was like minus 15, minus 17 out. And I thought, man, the subway is not running yet, and I got to catch a bus, and I wish I knew when exactly it was coming. But real time I really like. So I'm going to be talking about GPS and APIs, and I'll grab Rick and see if we can maybe basically join the session together. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Scott Dawson. I want to talk about the GTA Pass. I live in Toronto and work in Mississauga, and I want to know how we can make it easier to get them, like order them off the website. Why do I always have to go to Islington? Why can't I get them?
Hey, stop. What's the GTA?
GTA Pass is sold by Toronto and other transit systems in the region. It lets me go from Toronto to Mississauga to Brampton to York, and all on the same card. So it's only sold in a few places. For some reason, it's almost invisible on the TTC's website, but I can go to Mississauga and buy it at their main bus station. So this is really useful. A lot of people don't know about it, and I think more people should. So it should be on the TTC's website.
Fox. I'm a transit geek, and if there's any interest, I'd like to talk about long-term planning. If there's already a session on what do we want public transit to look like in Toronto 25, 50 years from now. The subway's been around for 50 years. They've been thinking when they opened the first subway line, we'd still be using it now, and how to expand it. We need to start now thinking what do we want it to look like long-term. So really long-term planning, because subway is such a big...
Hi, my name is Karen Quinn. For those of you who can't see my side, it says Going Global, Inspiring Toronto, Toronto Inspires. And my name tag also says Ask Me About Vancouver, because I will be blatant. I am interested in having this kind of community in Vancouver, where I'm originally from. I was a student of communications at Santa University. And I am interested, and I'm thinking of actually doing a mashup with an annual session about long-term sustainability, because I would like to be inspired by other cities, other models, and their solutions to the problem, whether they're institutional or geographic or social in nature. In a nutshell. I'm Rochelle, and I'm a college student, and I live north of Steele. So, I'm a victim of the late night number 7 bus, and I actually have a story to tell. I was taking the bus last week, and I'm waiting on the bus driver's driving, and then all of a sudden he looks at the guy about the back of the bench, and he goes, so are you done with your secondhand smoke? You know, you're going to give me cancer or whatever. And my idea, I have a couple of ideas. One is for a rider-driver etiquette. I know that there's the existing code of conduct, and now that the sign says no spitting on drivers or whatever. But I feel like, especially on the driver's end, you know, like it doesn't feel us to say please and thank thank you, especially when we're getting a transfer or whatever. And then the other thing is that because I have sometimes an hour plus commute home, the ridership experience. So for example, how do we make the time go faster? That's all.
Hello, I'm Andrew, and I sort of feel like the TTC is more likely to get better if people care about it, and it's actually sort of an inextricable part of the culture of the city, like it is, like London's Underground is in London. And so I know that we've started, there's a TTC transit stop shop down at Union Station, and that's a good start, but I think that it would be even better if we could have, perhaps at the Davisville head office, some sort of transit museum, where we have the history of the TTC on display and the core memorabilia and stuff like that, because I think the more people care about it, the more it's
Hi, Michael. I came from Montreal just for this event, so I'm excited to be here. I'm with the Greville Centre, which is a similar group to Wireless Toronto. I'm interested in, we're talking about the GPS stuff, or the GIS, getting some of this access information about where you are, when the bus is coming, the kind of thing, when the stations are running. But the idea of the city exposing all of its, the transit system exposing all of its operational data that isn't sensitive, that isn't private, and letting us come up with some, as opposed to figuring out what are the functions that we want, and asking for that data, just give us all of the data, open it all up, and we'll figure out applications on it. And the really neat thing that the Montreal system just did is we put a new lighting in our metro to be able to signal effectively. So different color systems are
My topic sort of builds a little bit on what you said. It's about having a system what I basically call open TTC, where people can come together and collaborate the information that we already know and have, and then make it accessible to native time and have it match up whole. So everything from to, but it doesn't stop there, because the TTC is really sort of a cultural icon in Toronto. And there's a lot more to it than just bus times. I mean, there's a lot of photo bloggers who enjoy taking pictures of TTC-related stuff, and it doesn't stop there. So I figured we should have some method to connect everything. And I don't think that necessarily this is solely the responsibility of the TTC to run a great transit system. But I mean, we need to take some responsibility on ourselves. So that's what this is.
Hi everyone, my name is Nana Duncan and I have a background in media and public relations. And I am here because I became very interested in the TTC because of a man named Ian Stevens who's very close to me. And he matched up Google Maps with the TTC line. So my idea is improving the PR with an annual party. Wouldn't it be great if once a year everyone traveled on the TTC to different stops, and in doing so would be party. We would have to run everything overnight, of course, because parties tend to do that. And I think it would be great too if we related this with a certain foundation so that we could help both the TTC and another foundation, perhaps, I don't know, that's something for the heart or anything like that. So that's my idea, improving PR with an annual party.
Okay, so I grew up outside of Toronto and moved here for college, and I have a lot of family and stuff that likes to come in and visit and so on. And it's become painfully obvious to me lately that even if you live in another city or in a rural area, I mean the TTC is not necessarily obvious on the system, how it works, for transferring the various sort of subway, bus, streetcar integrations, that sort of thing. And my thought was that perhaps we should develop something that a system or a booklet or something that people can get that can introduce them to the basic ideas of how the TTC works. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing.
Good morning, my name's Eli, and a lot of us are involved in web or technology. Clearly, we all know that there's almost limitless possibilities of the things that we can do on the TTC website. And of course, we know that the TTC has very finite resources of what they can do with the TTC website. So what can we do to help the TTC? What would they like? I guess the session's titled, what would the TTC like us to do to help them develop their website in terms of leveraging the community? And if no one from the TTC is there to tell us, what can we do? So things like multilingual, like different languages and translations and all sorts of things. So that'll be that session. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, great. Is there anyone else who wants to do it? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We want to hit the last one.
I don't know if I'll actually have time to do this today because I'm going to be around a lot. I would really like to talk about, and I haven't, sorry, I've slowed down on a couple of other things as we hand into logistics, but I'm interested in funding. You know, there's a political problem around the funding for the TTC. And every single one of these great ideas needs meat, serious coin, not little Mickey Mouse coin. So I'm interested in funding in general, but specifically in this context, social media and the politics of transit funding. i.e., there are bloggers that are in this room, there are people out there in the blogosphere that are actually very, very good at being activists, at being, getting themselves organized and to make people pay attention to different levels of government. So social media and the politics of transit funding.
You definitely can add more sessions as the day goes on, and so for everybody, I encourage you to check in on the schedule frequently. Like you may find that something comes up in a session and you're like, oh man, now I want to talk about X. You can put it up there, and you can do that. So so you should be aware of that both, so you can do it yourself, and also to watch for new things that do come up. We're going to get you started very quickly, and I'm just going to give you a couple of very quick notes. We are in many ways we are overflowing with suggestions for sessions, which is fantastic. We are also probably literally overflowing with them, and that we probably have more than we even arranged space for.
Well, so actually, where we ended up is that as of right now, the grid is actually full.
Right.
But that's for other sessions. Try and squeeze the other ones together. Just a single note: I moved one of the sessions. The ridership one was not actually in the spot. Okay. The ridership etiquette, no problem. So I've actually moved it. It's going to be in the next block of sessions starting right now. Otherwise, hey,
how many
job with the grid.
Yeah, it's fantastic. How many people have sessions that aren't up on the grid yet? How many people have sessions that are not yet up on the grid who had something they proposed but it's not on the grid? The design slams are in there too, and I think we talked about those. So we're great. So we actually do have it up. If you want to add more, it just means people have to be more resourceful about spaces. If you want to, if you want to get a table and have brunch at the Melody Bar with people, you can do that. The other thing with a lot of people is that you might find that only one or two people come to your session, which is really awesome. It means that you found the one or two people who really want to talk to you. Don't be sad. That is okay. Those are hard people to find, and you have found them, and that is great. You may find that no one comes to your session. That is also okay. And no, seriously, and especially the thing to do is, like, if you have an idea and no one else came, I think what we'd really like you to do is at least take 10 minutes, write up your idea, and get it onto the wiki. Because it's still a good idea. So if you know how to get it on the wiki, do that. If you don't know how to get it on the wiki, find someone who can help you. So at least your idea can become a page on the wiki, and that's really important. There's also so much going on. You should feel free as a participant to move around between the sessions if you want to do that. That's totally cool and good. And keep checking in on that schedule. Listen, anything like this, if you have a problem, it's a good question, but in general, like, there are so many people here who know things. So if you have a problem, ask someone else, and if you see a problem, feel free to fix it. Like the people who you've seen talking here, we are not particularly in charge. So
we're also not very smart either. So the spirit of our camp is that you guys are all here to make today happen. So make it happen. You don't have to come to ask us permission for things or to do things. Just make it happen. It's your day.
Yeah, if there's something you think you want to do. What I welcome people to do is go up to the wall, see what's going on, figure out where you want to be, and go there. Sorry? A, B, and C. I will leave it to yourselves to figure out which are A, B, and C. So maybe put up a sign or something. I'll leave it to you to figure it out.